Hello and welcome to The Gathering, a magic podcast with Jack and
Cole, what up?
episode 5. So today we're going to be going over the Modern Horizon 3 spoilers and the bans that have recently come to all formats. Goodbye Mind Goblin, goodbye competitive magic as we know it. The closest that goblins will ever be to a most busted deck will be being able to cast Muxus on turn 1 on the play and not even let your opponent have a game of magic. On May 13th, there was a ban restricted announcement. Effective immediately in Legacy, Vintage, and Pauper, all cards that bring a sticker or an attraction into the game are now banned. So the main one being Mind Goblin, of course, or Name Sticker
Sticker
Goblin,
name
depending where
name
you play
sticker
it.
goblin, yeah.
Yeah, on Magic Online, but being able to go Soul Ring into Chrome Mox, turn one Mind Goblin, and sometimes just play your fair goblins, just all of your hand, or sometimes playing a Muxus on turn one. And if you're on the whole busted thing about Legacy is that you can win without even taking a single turn. Your opponent can kill you on their turn one on the play. And in a fair deck like Goblins, that was never even imaginable. But it was the reality when Mind Goblin was a thing, because you could just throw 30 power into play and it all is haste and kill your opponent before they have a single blocker.
Mm,
So
great
it was
point.
it was a really it was a cool deck, but I can definitely see where Wizards comes from, and they don't. Also, they did say I play a little bit of competitive Magic, and they said that what they didn't want was when you play stickers, you are giving your opponent free information before the game starts, and what they didn't want is other people to say, "Well, I play one clone effect in the board. What happens if I clone their sticker goblin? So I need to actually bring my sticker sheets, and then it's a bluffing game." Because your opponents you're playing and you can decide your mulligans, but you have free information right there. You know your opponents could be on goblins, so you might take a mulligan you wouldn't take. So there's an aspect of bluffing that's brought into the game by these
Yeah.
sticker sheets that Wizards just didn't want to be a part of the format. And
It's also
honestly,
just
I,
a
I agree.
horrible, I think it's just a horrible thing to have to keep track of and have to have in the
There's
format.
there's a random there's 10 independent sticker sheets that you have to shuffle up before each game and draw 3 of. And then during the game you have access to 3 sticker sheets. Like of the 10 random. Like at any time. That's insane.
Yeah.
And this is like a commander like chill, have a drink with your friends and
Yeah.
like relax format mechanic when in reality it was brought to the most competitive format Legacy. So I'm glad as a Goblins player, I'm glad that it's banned because as much as I enjoyed it, it was not, I think, healthy for the format. And Legacy is a healthy format, and so if something needs to be banned, it needs to be banned. Also,
Legacy is a
there's a
healthy
banning in
format. All right.
Legacy, like I'm gonna get destroyed in the comments, but yeah. And then
I
Pauper
know
also
very
has a
little about
banning.
Legacy. My ignorance shines through, but I have heard a lot of comments about Grief and Bowmasters both
Oh
being really,
yeah.
really good in Legacy right now. You just like basically grief scam. It's basically the same thing as scam, but you're like reanimate grief, which is worse,
Yep.
but it's more versatile.
You can
So
it's better in the mirror because in the reanimator mirrors they just slowly have drifted away from like big fatties and into like a blue black grief shell. And so like the issue with going like turn one entomb a thing, and having an animate dead in your hand is your opponent can go turn one reanimate your thing that you entombed.
right,
And
yeah, that
so
sucks.
it's it, it's this yeah, yeah. So so in the reanimator mirrors, reanimate and like ancient dead are like these weird cards where you really can't bin your thing. So grief ends up being the card that they reanimate because they're like, okay, well I'm gonna grief you and then it's in the graveyard for free and I'm gonna just reanimate it turn one. Um,
Absolutely.
but
Yeah, they say they mentioned cards, Phyrexian Metamorph. I assume all
yeah,
those kinds of cards. It's
people played
like it's wild. But also, all the glitters got banned in Popper for all the people out there who care about Popper. Gavin being one of them. Absolutely, um, yeah, absolutely. You know, making it happen with the Popper ban list. I assume all the glitters is way too strong for Popper. If I had to make a wild guess, I don't think all the glitters was always common, as you see here, originally printed and thrown in Eldraine, yeah, Eldraine at uncommon, and then that's somewhere along the line it got printed at common. I think that was a mistake. I think that card's just an ethereal armor, just disgustingly good for a format with little resource management like that. So
I feel like quintessentially that card is an uncommon, right? Like a common is like supposed to be something that's like bare bones and like very like there's an archetype, but it's very like chill and laid back. It's like commons are meant to be like stylistic pieces in the bigger game design of the set. And all the glitters is very much so an uncommon. It's one of those cards where, like, after looking through seven commons, when you open your pack, right, you see it and your eyes open up a little bit more, and you're
yeah,
like, "Wow, this is really busted." Because all of those bad, shitty artifacts and enchantments that you just passed now have some payoff to it, and like
yeah,
and that's how a set can like create cohesion.
yeah. I think it's an uncommon one because typically uncommons are a little bit more niche in their role. So you see like signpost are on uncommons. Two color cards are typically like the signpost of their draft format at uncommon. I think that also it's yeah, like you said, just too strong for if you just play a bunch of commons together. I think that the power level just shines through. But not too much else to say about all the glitters. Let's go ahead and jump into some spoilers. So a very interesting card I think we should talk about first was Lexan Sealing. Two and a blue enchantment with Devoid. This card has no color. Whenever you cast a creature spell with mana value 4, 5, or 6, create 2/0/1 colorless Eldrazi spawn creature tokens with sacrifices creature add colorless. And then whenever you cast a creature spell with mana value 7 or greater, you draw 3 cards. Now, you're looking at this card and you're like, why would this card be good at all? Well, let's take a look. There's a card called Thoughtcast that's played in oh, Thoughtcast is 5 mana. Never mind. I'm thinking of Thought Monitor. Excuse me. Thought Monitor
So many
is
cards.
played in Infinity. Infinity Go Burr. You cast this card for 1 mana, 0 mana, yeah, I think 1 mana actually. And you draw 2 cards, and then you draw 3 cards. You draw 5 cards with this combo wombo. Also, other cards in Affinity that you can play with. People are just making the comparison to
Is
Beans. Leyline
really
Binding
good.
is 7 mana, so do with
Uh,
that information what
it
you will. Oh, it's a
yeah, it
creature
has to be
spell.
creature.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, okay.
No, but like any of the you're totally correct. Mirror Enforcer, any of like the new 7 mana Affinity for Artifact cards that they printed in Modern Horizons 2, like any Eldrazi you cast, of course. But like I really like the templating of like you can like evoke elemental like a solitude or a subtlety, and then you can get free mana that then can allow you to hard cast some big thing that you have in your hand. I like the flavor of it, but I feel like this card is going to be abused like crazy.
Yeah,
7 mana seems like a lot, but we just got a soul land, and it's not legendary. So I feel like
it is
we're gonna
not.
be playing a lot of 7 drops.
I like how we're like going back into Eldrazi Winter, just like Watsy was like, what would be good for this modern format? How about another Eldrazi focused Soul Land?
They're like, they're like, who have we been hating on for way too long?
Let's just
The
make it,
Eldrazi, they're totally fine.
yeah. And what would pair best with Eldrazi? Um, Energy.
Prison.
Oh man.
Oh my god, yes.
It to
Oh,
be fair,
speaking of energy,
I've been loving the, you know, the whole energy stuff, but I actually want to read this card because
it's true.
I don't know this card. It's a
Oh,
Kindred enchantment, Echoes of Eternity, 3 colorless, 6 mana total. Kindred enchantment, Eldrazi spell. If a triggered ability of a colorless spell you control or another colorless permanent you control triggers, it's a Panamornicon. Whenever you cast a colorless spell, copy it. Okay, that card's not very good. That's gonna be probably commander playable. Thoughts?
so if you cast an Ulamog, you get 2 cast triggers. You exile 4 things.
Sure.
If you cast like a Sire of Insanity, you get uh also whenever you cast the spell, you also get two copies of the spell. So like if you cast two creatures that are non-legendary, you get both of them and both the cast trigger or the first cast trigger because you only cast it, right? But like if you have
Right.
ETB triggers,
Yeah, you get
both the
four
ETB
triggers
triggers will
total.
occur. Yeah.
Oh, that's pretty good.
So there's like things with it if creatures have cast and ETB triggers. Otherwise, it's just like this is the Eldrazi Mamacon.
Drowsy Mobicon, yeah. Quintessential commander staple right there for sure. So let's talk about something else then. If we want to go ahead and go to the leaks, I want to talk about this white card
Actually,
here.
yes. You do
Uh,
that. I actually remembered I have the place where I saw it right here.
Guide of Souls.
Hmm.
Are we talking about Guide of Souls? So,
Yeah.
yeah, one white mana for a creature human cleric. Whenever another creature enters the battlefield under your control, you may gain one life and get an energy. Whenever you attack, you may pay 3 energy. When you do, put 2/1/1 counters and a flying counter on target attacking creature. It becomes an angel in addition to its other types. So, angel text all of a sudden, the angel people, believers, will be like, oh, it's a soul warden, turn stuff into an angel. But really, seems like a good card. Soul warden, angel, energy creator. It just seems good. And Also, when you're talking about all those combos with the 4 mana enchantment, 3 mana enchantment, that you can cast creature spells using energy, as long as they're 3 or less, and then you can cast them using cast spells using flash, or cast creature spells as though you could cast them with flash or something like that. That seems like a good card.
Yeah.
So, just seems like it's got good potential. That's all.
Yeah, I definitely like it. I feel like you could just play it fairly with like tokens and in a normal strategy in a normal game and just make a bunch of energy and then like have one other payoff. Just randomly like, oh look, I just won the game because I have all this energy in my fair deck and it's just a free resource that I can just like stockpile or use whenever I need to.
Absolutely.
Um, yeah, I think the card's really good. I'm sorry I couldn't find the other one.
Oh no, you're all good, Ben. Let me know if you do find it. Otherwise, we can just keep going through. Um, I want to talk about 6. So, run in 6, run in 7. Now we have 6. Um, 2 and a green for a legendary creature, Tree Folk. It's a 2/4 with reach. Big ol' body. Whenever it attacks, you mill 3 cards. You may put a land card from among them into your hand. As long as it's your turn, non-land permanent cards in your graveyard have retrace. So how do we feel about about 6? Does it seem like it's good to you? Because that text there, as long as it's your turn, non-land permanent cards in your graveyards have retrace. That seems pretty good.
I've died to that line of text before on an emblem.
It's literally the inverse of Renin 6, or actually Renin 6 alt is any cards, right? Like spells have retrace, not just instants and sorceries. I think that's the
But
math.
yes.
Yeah.
What does it
Anyway,
say?
this card seems just really good.
Non-land. So permanent. So it's just permanence.
Right,
So it's just
non-land permanents.
non-land permanence.
Yeah.
You can do planeswalkers, enchantments, artifacts, and creatures. I mean, so in my opinion, you just play this with the pitch elementals, and you play this like you can just like recast your solitudes out of your bin.
Yeah.
You can recast your. You can't do subtlety during your turn, but if they try to fuck with you, you just go subtlety your shit. Um,
Yeah,
yeah,
you can do subtlety
I
for
think
sure.
that
Card seems fucking good. You can
I think
like green black rock, you can like go grief into 6, like, and then you can be like, oh, um, what is it? Like run in 6, get my land back, pitch the land, pitch a black card to grief you again, or like hard cast it. This seems really good. You could also do that like a bunch if you have like 4 black cards in your hand, 2 lands, and a 6 on the battlefield. You can like pitch grief twice, pitch those 2, like pitch a land. Seems seems good. Seems like it's an enabler for a lot of degenerate things. Um, you also get to like stock your graveyard a little bit. and get lands back into your hand as long as you can attack. So seems decent.
So I found what I was thinking about.
Tell me about
I
it.
was thinking about Ivy League Denizen, but that's green
Yes.
creatures. So there
Oh
is a
no, that
combo
doesn't
there.
work, does it?
Where's No, it doesn't. We were very close. I was thinking it was a two card combo where you could just like get infinite, like loops, but
Hmm.
just cooking too hard.
Cooking too hard.
But that
No.
other yeah, that other combo was cool, but it is in Pauper.
Yeah, no worries. Okay. Any other cards you want to talk about? Oh, Wrath of Skies. I saw you do. I saw you're short on. This card seems good. X and a white.
Yes,
You get X energy. Then you may pay any amount of energy. Destroy each artifact, creature, and enchantment with mana value less than or equal to the amount of energy paid this way. And it's a sorcery. So you can pay one white mana, get 0 energy, and pay, if you have energy, 4 or 5. I feel like it's not hard to get a ton of energy. Like if
yeah,
you're playing blue eye control, like maybe you can afford to stick a couple Aether Hubs in your deck. You could play. Is this Rite of Flame an instant? Did I miss it already?
yes.
It is an
Go up.
instant. It is. So turn tune the narrative. Like turn one, tune the narrative. Cantrip, get 2 energy. Play Aether Hub on turn three. On turn two, have 3 energy. You can tap 1 mana, blow up all things with like mana value 3 or less. Still hold up counterspell, no problem. Like I guess with Aether Hub you couldn't do that, but still, this is so interesting and I think good.
Well, and
So
if you need one energy, you just pay one for X.
there you go. Yeah, and it's flexible like that. So yeah, I think where is it? I think Wrath of the Skies is going to be very, very good.
I think
Absolutely.
Hammer Time's gonna see significantly less play.
Poor Hammer Time, dude, with Pest Infestation coming out and all that stuff. That's
Yeah,
rough.
it's true.
Absolutely. Um,
There is there's another energy payoff I want to talk about if you scroll up a little bit more.
yeah.
Um, a little bit more. Oh, I think that it's either the so it's either if you keep going sorry, a little bit more. Just pointing at the screen, but you can't see my screen. Keep going up a little bit more. Oh, where is it? It's this giant rhino dude. So there's the reanimate. There's the wheel. Have you seen the wheel yet?
I have seen the wheel.
Okay. Keep going up a little bit. No, it's not. There's this rhino. Have you seen the rhino? I'm just gonna keep saying random cards.
No, you good.
So there's a two colors and a white rhino. I think it's a 3/3.
Okay. See if I can find it.
Come on. It reminds me a lot of Humler. Oh, I made you go all the way up when it's probably gonna be right at the bottom. Mm, there we go.
Shilgengar. Here it is.
These names are great. Okay,
Razorfield
I'm so sorry.
Ripper.
Yeah,
Is that what you're talking about?
yeah. So it's a 3 mana artifact creature equipment rhino. It's a
Oh,
3/3, I believe. When
I don't.
when
Yeah, we'll see. I don't think it
when it
says.
when it when it or I'm just going off rate. So
Sure.
it's whenever it or the equipped creature attacks, you get an energy, and then it gets plus X until end of turn, where X is the amount of energy that you have.
Nope.
So you don't have
Energy
to
payment
spend any
required.
energy.
Yeah, that's super
Yeah,
good.
you just have it, and then you just smack them. You can pay 2 colorless or 3 energy to equip it. So you just go,
To reconfigure it,
cool.
so it's gonna be two. It's an artifact creature initially, and then you can pay 2 or 3 energy to turn it into an equipment when it's on a creature. So it's got that Kamigawa reconfigure text. I do believe that's where that comes from. What does this need to be in order for it to see modern play? Also, oh, it's a commander card, so that sucks.
That's what that's very important. That's very important. Thank you for telling me that. I was trying to make energy work so hard.
How about
It's okay.
Necrodominance? What does this card do? Skip your draw step, beginning of your
Oh,
end step. You may pay any amount of life. If you do, excuse me. Your maximum hand size is 5. If a card or token you can't do any sort of graveyard recursion shenanigans. However,
You do have Necrodominant or
you do just get to do
Necropotency in.
you do just get to do Necropotence minus 2 cards. This is fucked. Storm or like don't give a shit about anything. Cabal coffers like
Coffers would definitely fuck with this because you have Shieldred plus Ring.
oh man, I didn't even think about Shieldred, dude. It doesn't even like do the weird like exile put cards in your hand like Necrodominance does or Necropotence does. It just draws you the cards. You get to trigger
Oh, you're
Shieldred.
right. So imagine your opponent has a Shieldred. You're like, okay, I'm fine, and then they flash in the Masters in response to the trigger.
There you go.
Just like-
Yeah, this card seems really good. Uh, we'll see. There's a lot of good answers in Modern, so I'm like more assuming that this card's gonna be okay than this card's gonna be like super duper busted, but you gotta pay attention whenever you have the potential of being like, I will draw all the cards. Because you can draw as many
Scroll.
cards as you want. Your maximum hand size is 5. Beginning of your end step, you pay any amount of
Oh,
life.
that's a great point, Cole. That's a
Yeah,
very good point.
you can set up.
It
You can go ahead
also
and do whatever the hell you want with Shieldred. You can be like, shoop, I'll go down to 1, and then I will double my life total.
and then you can also bounce it to your hand. You can bounce it, right? So if you have
With
like an unsum,
Teferi,
if you, I was gonna say if you have
yeah, there are
like any
the
like blue any like like a basic cyclonic rift like a kind effect where you just go like I'm gonna pick up my one card.
yeah.
You just go like I drew a bunch of cards, like, you know, leave up 2 mana, bounce it. What is it? Yeah, so you can bounce this in your main phase, move to your end step. You don't have a maximum hand size of 5. Because you still have to discard, but your cards
Yeah,
don't get exiled.
I'm curious to know if there's a window between when you pay any amount of life to draw that amount of cards and being able to use that before you get to your cleanup step. My understanding is you can still do stuff, but you're also not holding priority. So, like, once it resolves,
I
but
think you would have to bounce it in
like,
response.
it's not like a
Yeah,
main
you could.
phase, right? Like, it's not like you just get to do other stuff, but
That's fair.
I could be wrong. So I'm curious as to how
No, no,
that
no.
works.
I, th- I think you are right. I think that the way that it would have to work is you would have to do it in response to the trigger, right? You pay the life and then you bounce it. Um, or like you destroy it. You know, it might be easier just to exile. You know, just fucking
Because it does say the
shatter
beginning of
it.
your end step. So I'm just a little confused. So any judges out
Skeptical.
there want to clarify, that'd be awesome. I think that has more potential than maybe we initially thought. How we feeling?
Super cool card.
You want to touch on anything
So
else? Goodness
that's the
me. Some of
Ulamog.
these
That's
are
impossible to read.
hideously. It's like
Okay, you ready?
how do you even take a
You're
picture
right.
like this? You literally
Are you
this one
ready
looks
for the
like it's digitally
Ulamog?
altered to be completely fair.
I can do the Ulamog. Are you ready?
Do the Ulamog.
So it's 10 mana for a 7/7. When you cast the spell, target opponent exiles half their library, rounded up. It has ward, sack 2 permanents. Ulamog enters the battlefield with a number of +1/+1 counters on it equal to the greatest mana value among cards in exile. Ulamog has Annihilator X, where X is the number of +1/+1 counters on it.
Oh no. Ward sack
That's
two
the line
permanents.
that's
That's rough.
fucked.
Ward Annihilator
The
2.
Ward Annihilator 2, and then attack trigger sack your board.
Annihilator variable, most likely sack your board. Yeah, that's really good. Oh, with the black one
So
is
I
here
think
apparently. But yeah, let's finish on this guy.
Well,
See,
no, that was pretty much it for the Ulamog. It's just like if
big
you
dumb
can get
beater.
it, if you can cast it, big dumb beater.
Yeah, seems really good. Seems really good. Um, well, whenever a Lurgoyf. What?
Oh, it's a
Anywhere other
commander
than the
card.
battlefield? Oh, so it is. Okay, we got the black free spell, Flare of Malice, 2 black instant. You may sack a non-token black creature rather than pay the spell's mana cost. Each opponent sacrifices a creature or planeswalker with the greatest mana value among creatures and planeswalkers they control. Eh, it's
Oh,
fine.
yeah, I was gonna say you can hit the biggest thing, but so often you're dying to just things. It doesn't. It's not always the biggest thing.
Yeah, it seems fine. Flare of Duplication I think might be new. Sack a non-token red to copy target instant or sorcery spell. You may choose new targets for the copy. This card seems like it could see play. Like you sack a young PZ token pretty easily. Um,
But it has to be. They all have to be non-tokens.
oh yeah,
That's what makes them rough.
that's not great. So we can move on. Yeah, honestly, if you maybe we could
Blue Moon.
one or
Yeah, I was
two.
gonna say
Oh, they
go all.
have
Sorry, go. If we go all the way up because those have been spoiled for a while. The new
sure.
ones are up right at the top. I'm so
Okay.
sorry.
No, no, that's
So
fair.
keep going up. Have you seen the new Titan?
Hmm. I've not.
Keep going. Okay, boom.
3 mana
So we can
six
start
six.
with the
It's got
Titan.
escape. Oh, they're doing a cycle. That's so cool. One red white for a 6/6 legendary creature, Elder Giant. Flage, Titan of Fire's Fury. When Flage enters the battlefield, sacrifice it unless it has escaped. Whenever Flage enters the battlefield or attacks, it deals 3 damage to any target and you gain 3 life. Expensive Lightning Helix. But it's got that escape body, red, red, white, white. Exile 5 other cards from your graveyard to cast this for a escape cost, and you may do so from the graveyard. Yeah, seems fine.
Card is card is sweet. Probably not good, but
Probably
sweet.
not good. Seems worse than the other two. Well, one that's legal, but
Definitely. Well, and Crocs is like sometimes a house, sometimes not playable.
I like Croxa a lot, yeah, but Blade seems
Did you
significantly
read?
worse than Croxa.
Did you have time to read Eldorami, or
I
did you see it
have
already?
not. One, you want to read him?
Sure. So Eldorami Caravold is a one colorless, two green, 3 mana, 3/3 legendary creature, elf warrior. You may look at the top card of your library at any time, and you may cast creature spells from the top of your library. It doesn't say elf; it just says creatures. Then you can pay a green and tap it to tap 2 untapped creatures you control. Reveal a card from your hand or the top of your library. If you reveal a creature card revealed this way, put it on the battlefield. Activate only during your turn.
Wah!
So
It's
there,
like that alert
there's no
noise.
yeah, right? Danger, danger. It's not. It's good for elves. They can put Craterhoof into play. Um, but it's also just any creature deck that you play creatures. You play Caravold, and now you can through the breach your fucking Emrakul.
So you need to have 3 untapped creatures total to make Eldalamri be able to be an Elvish Piper from your hand or the top of your library, which is cool. So
Crazy.
Elvish Piper, obviously, probably dog shit.
This is wait,
I think
wait.
it's a 4 mana one
This is
one.
also
This is a 3 mana
true.
3/3.
This is
This
also a
thing
Snoop.
bangs in combat. Yeah, and it's a future sight for creatures. So it's just a card advantage engine 3/3. That's not what Elvish Piper does. Like you have literally your Elven Chorus strapped to your 3 mana 3/3, which again, that body fucks in combat. And then with 3 untapped creatures, you just get to, like you said, put a Craterhoof into play, Trastodon, Hornet Queen, uh,
Emrakul.
Titan. You go Arboreal Grazer, Eldalamri. You play Dryad, tap 1 mana, tap your guys, put a Titan into play, go to town with some
There
Valakits.
we,
Like that line works.
there we go.
There's also a ton of creatures in Titan, so I'm curious to see if maybe they consider that. But yeah, super
Really
cool.
good.
I'm liking it.
Have you seen the new Bogart land?
Seems fine. Jack Goblin's
So bug
literally Goblin Ringleader needs to touch on the Goblin card. Go for it.
you have to. Boggart Trawler is a 3 mana 3/1. When it enters the battlefield, you exile target player's graveyard, and it has a backside that's a black land that enters untapped if you bolt yourself.
Yeah, so
So
it's
it
got that
Boggart Bog
legendary MDFC text.
taps taps for a black and can bolt you if you wanted to. Otherwise, it enters tapped. And so this is your matronable land, Cole, that we've been asking for so long. You can matron for your land. You can ringleader for your land.
For
Also,
the
it's main
swamp,
deckable great. It's
sad
also main
face
deckable
prospector.
graveyard hate.
Yeah, that it's gonna be a good utility piece. Like it's gonna be a very strong one of in goblins, and that's pretty much all you need to say, I think. Like,
I agree. I agree. So in energy, okay, we have a 1 mana reanimate, we have a 2 mana counterspell, we have a 1 mana wrath, and we have a 3 mana wheel. Are there any other cards? And we have a 4 mana Arulin.
it's a 3 mana wheel
Um,
as long as you can pay the energy, but if you pay 7 or more, you just get to keep your hand for another turn, for
no,
another
no, no,
two
no,
turns. You can play your other
no.
hand if X is 7 or more.
So yeah, so you can just pay 3 mana, exile your. Each player exiles their hand,
Yeah, why don't we read it
right?
here?
Can't you
I'll,
just
I'll I'll
do?
read it here. So it's 2 and a red sorcery. You get 3 energy. Then you may pay X energy. Each player may exile their hand and draw X cards. It's a may also. If X is 7 or more, you may play the cards you own exile this way until the end of your next turn. So what I'm saying is like if you have 3 cards in your hand as you cast it, as long as you cast it for 7 or more, you can then put those 3 cards into exile and cast them until your next turn. So you get to keep those cards around. It's also a may, which is interesting. So
Yeah,
your
that is
opponent can
very
go fuck you.
interesting.
I'm rejecting that, but I feel like more often than not they're gonna be like, yeah, I'll draw 8 cards. Um,
Yeah, you'll take
yeah.
free value usually. But okay, so I didn't read it right the first time. The first time I thought it was 3 mana wheel, and then you can pay any amount of energy. If you get to 7, then you keep your hand. I
Mm.
was like, a wheel is much like that's playable in modern, but this is definitely not a wheel.
Yeah, straight up Wheel of Fortune would be busted, but I think this might not be too far off. So yeah, energy coming out swinging in this format. Like it's ready to get it's ready to ban some cards in modern.
Yeah, we go turn one the Soul Sister for energy. Turn one the 1/1, the 1/2 actually.
Hmm.
Then turn two we go Ocelot Pride. We go a second 1/2, right? We go two of the dudes. Then we play an Ocelot Pride. Trigger. First off, you got an energy trigger from the second dude, so you're at 1 energy. Then the Ocelot Pride triggers, you get 2 energy, so you're at 3 energy. Then you move to your end step and you get another dude
Well,
because
only
let's
if
say
you
you
gain
all you
life.
but you did because the energy and a life. It
Well,
give you an energy
so you have
and a
to play
life.
Ocelot Pride first, I guess. Turn one Ocelot Pride. Turn two, play 2 energy guys. Get an energy from one of them. Trigger Ocelot Pride. You get 2 more energy. That's 3 energy. Turn three, you have 6. You can play Aether Hub, have 7 energy. Wheel.
What if you just do like the the Soul Sister for energy first, and then you don't get to attack with the Ocelot Pride turn two, but you still get the token at the end step, and you play it because you get a gain life trigger.
Do you get a gain life trigger?
Uh,
How do you get a gain
if
life
you play
trigger?
the Soul Sister first, the Soul Sister, the
Oh,
first
does
Soul
it gain you a
Sister,
life and make you an energy? I thought it just
yeah,
made you an
yeah,
energy. If it gains you life too, that'd be super good. Oh, let's go! It does gain you a life. Okay. Okay, you're cooking.
card is
Sure, sure,
cracked.
sure.
So you go one of those, and then another one of those, and then you do this,
Make
and
two,
then
make
you
two
make
more. That's 5
you got
total.
5 energy on turn three. You have your 1 mana reanimate for whatever they want to kill, and you have your 1 mana wrath for the aggro
Yeah, you
deck.
got your counterspell, reanimate, you got your wheels, you can refuel. That's super good.
In blue and white. Your reanimates and counterspells are in blue and white. So I feel
Jeskai
like
Control
energy
is
is gonna
gonna
be very
look
pushed.
wild, dude. It's gonna be awesome. Well, I'm gonna end it here because we've been recording the pod kind of late at night. This was a good episode though. I think there's a lot of exciting cards to talk about, and Sorry, our
Sorry for
thoughts are.
messing up so much.
No, you're fine. Sorry, our thoughts have been all over the place. We didn't have too much of like a template going into it, but thanks for joining. If you stuck around, we appreciate your time. Goblin Ringleader on YouTube. Make sure you smash that like and subscribe button because he's putting in a lot of effort, and we would appreciate your support. But if not, we just appreciate you hanging out. So, anything else you want to say to wrap it up?
Oh, I appreciate the support. We got 30,000 views on the YouTube Shorts last. I mean, we haven't even been doing the channel for a month, so it means a lot to you guys, to me, that you guys pay attention and listen. So we'll keep the content coming. Good vibes, and I hope you guys have a nice night.
Thanks for hanging out. Take care, guys.